The moral argument. Morality, or ethics, is the distinction of good from evil. When we study morality, we are not looking at it in the situational sense, topics like abortion or capital punishment, but rather, what is the basis of those beliefs? What is the foundation that we use to form our moral judgments? We have three options for a moral basis. Either morality is subjective, I, the perceiver, both decide and interpret morality, or morality is objective, it exists externally out in the world, or morality does not exist. There is no basis or foundation for morality. That is nihilism. Let's examine each and see what we find. Subjective morality. In subjective morality, morality is decided by the mind. Each person decides right and wrong for themselves. This is somewhat popular nowadays with the transgender and feminist movements, but we must not confuse it with relativism, which we can discuss as an addendum later. Subjective morality fails for many reasons. It lacks a standard. It has no internal consistency. If I think rape and murder are wrong one day, but not the next, are they somehow evil yesterday, but good today? It has no application. I appeal only to myself and can only apply my judgments to myself. If I think rape and murder are wrong, they are only wrong to me. I cannot condemn others. It offers us no motivation. Why follow my own law? Who will enforce it? I am my own judge. Why not pardon myself? If morality is subjective, it is self-defeating, because you no longer have the capacity to make moral judgments. Remember that the goal of morality is to distinguish between good and evil. Subjective morality does not have this ability. Therefore, subjective morality is false. Objective morality. In objective morality, there are moral laws existing in the universe outside of ourselves. We all have a duty to follow these laws, regardless of our thoughts on them. This fixes the first two problems we encountered with subjective morality. We now have a standard with internal consistency that can be applied to all people. But what about motivation? Consider this. What if the laws of morality are like the laws of physics? What if they merely exist? This is a popular notion among atheists. The issue is that unlike the laws of physics, which we see exist continually and are not broken, moral laws are constantly broken. The laws of physics are actual limitations, whereas moral laws seem to be like a gnat, buzzing about but can be ignored. People aren't struck by lightning immediately after doing evil. However, gravity cannot be ignored. This is a problem, a holdover from subjective morality. Problem is motivation. Even if this moral law exists in the universe somehow, why should I follow it? It is not enforced. Why should I do good? If I live, breathe, and die, and that's truly it, I'm reduced to dust, then why would I care about morality? My good and evil deeds will not be tallied, measured, or judged. they will be forgotten, lost in death just as me. A law requires a judge, otherwise it is not binding. God is necessary for objective morality as a judge. Without him, there is no duty to be good. Therefore, the only way objective morality can be binding is if God exists. Nihilism. Nihilism rejects the possibility of moral discernment. We cannot live with nihilism. Everything is permitted. There is no attempt at a standard, at application, or motivation. I cannot condemn actions. Nothing has any value, and I cannot justify any action. Suicide and making tea are equal options, equally without value. No one lives like this. Even those who claim morality does not exist do not live like this. Many of them continue to argue unreasonably and illogically for things like the value of life and pursuing happiness, when they have no basis, no foundation to stand on. This leaves us with a dilemma. Either objective morality is true and God exists by necessity, or nihilism is true and all value is lost. The effects of the moral argument. The argument upholds objective truth, which is essential for any further discussion of God. It also discredits belief systems which are subjective, relative, nihilistic, or lacking a judge. This includes Hinduism, any sort of naturalism or evolutionary atheism and humanism, and also pantheism and Buddhism. The argument puts real perspective and consequence to not believing in God. Without him, there is no good, evil, or even value itself. There is no guide or justification, there is no foundation or basis, and all people live and die without hope of judgment or salvation.